There's no family in sight for your future?
If it happens that I have my partner that is going to support me, that is not never going to stop me in my dreams, okay. But I'm not gonna have a guy that's gonna be like, no, don't dress like that, don't go out like that, don't do that, don't do this. Let me know what I love. And then if I love myself enough, I will love you.
Wow. That's, I think they would define that as narcissism, but this is what OnlyFans does to women. They get so much attention right now, it doesn't matter at all about a family. It's like, maybe I'll find a guy, I don't care what he thinks. He's gonna have to love me because I love myself. You don't care about the man that you want to have kids with, but it doesn't even matter. Like right now, you're getting so much attention, it doesn't cross your mind to have kids, which is insane. How many girls in their 20s think this way because they're getting some money and attention from simps online?
5 reasons why men simp in the West. The truth about simping revealed. Access granted. Ah, yes, the topic of simping. Guys, this is not a space to try to be hardcore. We have all simped before. We have all have our red pill origin story because we were simping before. So, in this particular video, we are going to talk about 5 reasons why men simp in the West, the truth, the real truth about simping. Now, first, let's go into what is a simp. Everybody has their own definition of what is a simp, but it generally means the same thing. However, shout out to Coach Greg Adams. The best way to define simping is not protecting your meat. So let's let Coach let you know what it means to protect your meat.
I always tell guys, protect your meat. It's money, energy, attention, and time. That's the most important thing for women. If you give up your money easily, she's gonna use you until you run out of money. Your energy is everything. Women don't give men energy, they deplete it. So we are the source of energy for them. Attention is what they thrive on. That is her currency. And time is everything for you. If you give your time away, if you do that over and over again, you don't have time. I'm telling you, do not be reckless. Number one, don't listen to women's sob stories. They all got one. They're kings and queens of manipulation because we're weak to their manipulation. And this is how women have survived. I'm not saying women are bad, but you got to know the end game. And the end game in our society is take your seed and then you're left out in the cold.
Once again, shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I don't know if he made this term, this acronym up, but he was the first place I heard it from. And to me, this is the perfect depiction of what you need to protect in order to not simp. See, simps give out their meat freely without demanding or expecting anything in return. However, the problem is they really do want something in return, but they're too, I don't know the word for it, scared to say anything. In turn, they will continue to simp in hopes that one day that woman will give them the attention or whatever they were looking for. See, what men need to understand, especially average men, that women, in a general sense, aren't charity cases. Now, of course, if you want to do volunteer work at a specific charity, of course, you're going to not expect anything in return when you give. However, relationships are give and give. You give to them and they give to you. That's the only way it'll work. However, if you give and give and give some more in hopes of one day she will give you something in return, my friend, you are a simp. And this goes for quote unquote friendships and or intimate relationships with a woman. So why do men simp? Well, coming from a former simp myself, I can tell you exactly why. And here are the 5 reasons why men simp in the West. Now also keep in mind, if you did simp before, all these may not be true for you, but one of them definitely will be true whether you knew it or not. Reason number 1 is what I call the hero complex. We all talk about how women can have this fairy tale Disney fantasies about relationships. Well, little did us men know that Disney and other superheroes did a number on us as well. Just like they told women they could be princesses, everything should be catered to them, and they can have it all, They told men that if you protect the woman you love, save her from whatever she's going through, slay the dragon, so to speak, then at the end of the day, you will get the girl. They were wrong about women, and boy, they were definitely wrong about men. I know from personal experience, I had this Captain Save a 304 complex. All of the relationships that I ever been in was a situation where I had to start by saving the woman from something. In my mind, I thought I would build loyalty and trust, but we all know where that ended up. It ended up me being used up until they was done, and then they spit me out. I know I'm not the only one. Now that I'm older, I can see all these good young men all the time going through this simple, same complex. So the hero complex is definitely the first reason why men simp. Reason number 2 why men simp is no strong male images in their life. Now let me preface this by saying, remember, you could fall into just one of these categories. It doesn't mean you simp because you fell into all the categories. You only need one reason to simp. I, for example, had very strong male influence throughout my life. My dad is still married to my mother, going on 42 years. I had tons of athletic coaches throughout my youth. And as a man, I was in the military and had a number of strong men to guide me. But remember, it only takes one reason. I say that because this is and could be a very sensitive topic. Most average men didn't grow up with a father in the home for one reason or another. Also, young millennials and Gen Z grew up in this everybody gets a trophy mindset, and they couldn't receive that hard coaching from men. Not to mention what's happening in our schools these days, where for some reason only men are seen as predators and are not allowed to teach children as much as women, especially young children. So what's the result? Men getting soft, that's it. In order to protect your meat, you need to do the following things. You need to have a sense of pride for yourself and your family name. The men in your family give you a sense of pride in your family name, but if there's no men in the family, then you will never have an idea what that name represents. A level of stoicism, standing your ground, having a backbone, and always wanting to improve yourself. And number 3, knowing your purpose. If you know your purpose in life or living in your purpose, you won't have time for people who don't reciprocate what you do for them. That's why average men are so important in the community. Not just one man in your life, but a community/band of brothers that will guide you on this journey of life. So lack of strong men in their lives is the second reason why men simp. So before I go on to reason number 3, if you like this content and you want to help support the channel, drop a like and subscribe, and remember, we are all in this together. Reason number 3 why men simp in the West. Listening to what women say and not paying attention to what they do. I personally believe that most average men fall into this category. Now, before I go into a deep dive into this reason, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Shout out to the Miss Lovely Courtney Ryan.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're playing a little game with a group of girls called Would You Rather. So what I do, I give them guy number 1 and guy number 2, and each guy comes with some baggage or some things going on, and they have to choose which guy that they would rather date. So no more to say, let's get into it and see which guy the girls pick. So the first one here is guy number 1, who is 6'2" and doesn't work out or take care of himself at all, or guy number 2, who is 5'5" and is in great shape.
Now guys, before we start the video, think in your mind of what they will say they want compared to what they would choose in real life.
Oh geez, that is tough. It's not easy to change people and their habits. I think a lot of women also typically look for that like 6 foot tall guy. For me, I'm about 6 foot myself, so 5'5" is really pushing it for me. But I think I'd rather have someone with better habits, so 5'5".
Okay.
And takes care of themselves.
I would choose guy number 2.
Okay, and how tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay, so he's still taller than you.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm gonna go guy number 2.
Guy number 2, okay. How tall are you?
I'm 5'7", almost 5'8".
Okay, so he's shorter than you.
Yeah.
But you still would prioritize a guy who is healthy, takes care of himself, is in good shape, versus the tall guy who does not work out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
You're gonna hate this answer. They're not even big for me. Height's not big for me, and also, like, I go through fit phases and then I go through unfit phases, so a guy who's like 2 on top of his fitness is low-key intimidating to me.
Okay. I like how you're explaining it, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I
had
have
to choose.
If I had to choose, I'm picking height and fitness, right? Because one's really fit and one's tall.
Yes.
If I'm choosing between height and fitness, I think I'd choose height, which is weird because I'm really not a height person.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay, so I guess the 5'5" would still be taller than you.
5'5" still taller than me. That's why I'm kind of like, that's why it's normally not a big difference, because they're both taller than me.
That is a tough one. I mean, they're both, I get it, because it's hard to work out. I don't work out, so I feel like I can't be like, he's gotta be in shape. But also, it's important to take care of yourself in like other ways too, besides working out. That doesn't necessarily mean, I go to the gym every day. That could be, I eat good, or I try, probably 5'5" and a guy who takes care of himself, I think. And that would motivate me too a little bit to
get your act together.
Yeah, to also like, hey, go to the gym with me. I'm like, oh, cool, I got a gym buddy now, because I don't do that. So yeah, I think I would go with that guy.
Okay, and how tall are you?
I am 5'2.5".
Okay, so he's still taller than you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I guess at the point in my life, I would pick someone who had to be aligned with my goals, so I would go with the 5'5" guy who's in shape.
Okay, and how tall are you again?
5 foot on a good day.
Okay, so he's still much taller than you.
Oh yeah, pretty much everybody's taller than I am, so that's
Perfect.
really not an issue.
The guy that is 5'5" and takes care of himself.
Okay, so you prioritize a guy taking care of himself, being in shape, versus how tall he is.
Yeah, I mean, I do, only because I like to take care of myself, so like I need somebody that's motivated as well.
Okay, on your wavelength there.
Now guys, come on. We know damn well they not picking a 5'5" guy over a 6'2" guy. He would have to look like the Michelin Man, and the 5'5" dude had to be Kevin Hart for him to get chosen. Now I'm not saying that if you're 5'5", don't bother getting in shape. As a matter of fact, if you're only 5'5", you better be in shape to help your chances. But let's not act like women choosing the short guy over the tall guy, especially that girl that said she's over 6 foot tall. Anytime you see something that extreme, there are a viral couple on TikTok and all the women in the comments saying things like, oh, he must have a lot of money, etc., etc. Matter of fact, don't believe me. Let me give you an example. Here's a lovely couple, and in this example, women say they want a nice guy and looks don't matter. But shout out to Chisa's Ed. It doesn't matter what they said in the video. Let's see what they're saying in the comments.
First comment here says, so obvious how manipulative this guy is. Okay, so right off the bat, we got a comment here who's like, this guy looks manipulative. Right. What do you guys think of that? Next comment here says, you're so pretty, and he is there too. 33.3K likes. 33,000 people. Think of how many people agreed with this chick. Comments here. Another commenter says, my people will never be free. What does this mean? I saw this comment and I was wondering what it meant. Another comment added, did you meet him on Discord? Another person here says, girl, please. 16K likes with the crying emojis. Another comment says, is this real? 17K likes on that one. And someone else responded and says 10K likes. Oh my gosh. So this person who responded, that comment previously was a 10K likes and it jumped up 7,000 more. Another comment here says, bro, please. Another comment here says, I physically recoiled. What's going on? 14K. Another commenter here from another woman says, the bar does not exist. Another female commenter, girl, stand up. And then she's strikingly beautiful and he's there, that comment says. And then another comment says, you would not believe how fast I ran to the comments. Next person says, this must have been what I looked like with all my exes. It's turned into a whole thread because people are like, this guy must be rich. Another woman responded back to him and says, he works at GameStop. And somebody else says, dead ass, because he looks like it. So I don't know if it's a joke. And somebody added to the thread, and no, bro, this dude gotta own GameStop or something. So they're like, oh, he has to be rich. Another comment here
A message to the woman says, blink twice if you need help. It's okay. Next comment says, he must have money. Another comment, final comment says, y'all, she chose him. Let her be.
So guys, you get the point. Most men from a young age listen to what women say and not pay attention to what they do. Now, as you can see in these comments, women will say what they really mean if one or two things happen. If they've been drinking and, they got a little airtime and they don't think anybody will see that's important to them, or if they're on the internet and basically no one knows them because we can all say what we want on the internet with no consequence, right? But pay attention, men. Stop only listening to what they say and pay close attention to their actions and what they do. Reason number 4. Well, the society and the mainstream media tells us to.
My next guest says when it comes to dating, her biggest problem is that she's a hopeless romantic and she needs my help. Let's look at the tape.
Hi, my name is Brian Chavez. I'm 30 years old. Y habla español Afro-Latina, by the way. And I have been single for about 13 years. It's been a long 13 years. Either I meet guys that don't want to commit, or I go on a date and they're like, can I get 2 separate checks? I'm just like, I love to cook. I love to feed people. People feel, wanted and loved. And I'm like, I wish I could get that back. I've just been a hopeless romantic for years. I need help, Steve.
Now that was a clip from the Steve Harvey Show. Now, no knock on Steve Harvey, but his show and many others push this notion that women don't want much from men. They just want you to be romantic and pay for dates once in a while. We all know that's not it. But in our early years, before we take that red pill, we actually believe it's true, that that's all we need to do. Forget being 6 foot or having a 6-pack and making 6 figures. All I have to do is be romantic and pay for stuff once in a while. So you mean to tell me a pretty woman, 30 years old, who haven't been in a relationship for 13 years and all she wanted is for someone to be romantic and pay for a date? I call cap. But most simps think if you constantly hear the women around you say it and then you constantly hear the mainstream media say it, then it must be true. And that's why the 4th reason why men simp is because the mainstream media tells us to. So the 5th and final reason why men simp is because basically the average man feels like there's no other options. Most average guys simp because they don't know any other way to get a woman's attention. I have a whole series of videos that talk about how average men are invisible in society. So how does a man think he'll be seen? It's the simp. Listen to all their horror stories that they'll have with Chad and Tyrone, and then try to be better than that. I remember growing up as a young man, my whole goal was not to be an F-boy. I used to listen to all their stories and think to myself, I would never do that. It wasn't until after a couple of breakups, knowing I was giving all I had to that relationship, and when she told the story, I was the bad guy. And then the light bulb went off. Wait a minute, I never heard the other guy's side of the story. I never asked. I never asked what she did in a relationship or what she would have done differently to make the relationship go smoothly. Fellas, if you find yourself listening to a woman's horror story, ask her this question. What would you have done differently? Or you could say, what were your mistakes in a relationship? And if she says something like, oh, I love too hard, or I wasn't living in my truth, or anything else weird like that, she's not taking any accountability, and that's a red flag. So reason 5 is basically that average men didn't think they had any other choice. Well, fellas, now you do. Get your passports. Check out these numbers. As of 2021, the women in the US ages 18 to 45 is only 3.5% of the world's population of women ages 18 to 45. So you mean to tell me we've been simping over 3.5% of the women? Men, the biggest advantage that we have is that we don't have a biological clock. We can legit be working on ourselves from 18 to 38. That's, for example, a 20-year career in the military. You can retire in the military, get a regular check, once you retire, and you can live overseas scot-free and still have time to find a beautiful traditional woman and raise a family. The average man in the West, or let's say in the US, makes anywhere between $40,000 to $50,000 a year. There are people living in beautiful countries around the world with beautiful women for no less than $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. Excuse me, they're living for less than $2,000 a month. $24,000 a year. All you have to do now is leave the women alone, learn how to leverage your money so you can get paid the American dollar and live overseas. Also, did you notice I didn't mention any specific countries? Because you have 96% of the women to explore the whole world. So this is what you do. You find a country that best fits your lifestyle in the way that you like to live your life. You settle down. Then you meet the woman in that country. Don't do it the opposite way. Don't look for a woman first and then see if you can, live there in that country that you found her in. That won't work in most cases. I know there are examples of it will working. However, you want to make sure you're as comfortable as possible building your roots and your family before you find your woman. Again, find out where you want to live, where you want to grow, lay your roots, then trust and believe the beautiful women will come. So those are the 5 reasons why men simp. But the real question is, why do men simp? Because in 2023 and beyond, we don't have to. So if you like this video, you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe to support the channel, as well as hitting the like button and that bell notification icon so you never miss any of our videos. And remember guys, we are all in this together.